Alright, hey guys, CC Genesis here. Sorry it's a very late upload. I'm here with my Aimul deck profile. It's been a while, so I'm sorry. A lot of things been coming up recently. I've been working a lot more, so that's good for me. So Aimul, I really like Aimul. I was playtesting her a lot on Untapped, but unfortunately, the rulings with Inverse sort of nerfed her potential. Lorite also became a card and also nerfed her potential, because I honestly thought that when Aimul came out, she was going to be top tier ruler. She was going to be in the meta deck of the format, and it's going to be really hard to beat her. But they also made Separation of Fates. They made a lot of counterbalances towards Aimul already on the same set as she was released. Don't get me wrong, Aimul's still a great ruler, because you don't even really have to play the inverse support with her. It just makes her stronger. But she has got a lot of good toolboxing that she could do. She has a really strong enter effect when she's a J ruler. So her ruler side in this deck is very powerful because of the fact that we abused it with the mana dorks. And honestly, that's the first thing I came up with when I was playing this deck, is with the mana dorks. Turn 1.5 Melfi could be the really strongest play you could really do turn 1 with her. But in the same fact that there are a lot of other things that you do with her her zero ability, just be able to reset a resonator and be able to block again, or just to be able to make them so they can't swing into certain creatures. So it gives you a lot of utility in a sense. Her judgment cost is 2 white, and when she enters the field she has Flying, Imperishable, and Drain. So Drain's a new keyword that is lifelink, basically. So when you deal damage or take damage, you gain that much life. So when she swings, you gain. When she takes damage, you gain the life. Technically, we already had this mechanic, it just never had the keyword Drain before. When she enters the field, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put anything that's 3 or less non-chant into play. So it has got a lot of good utility in cards like Additions and Resonators. So you have really strong enter effecting Resonators that can hit the field. Procs out their enter effects, you have really strong Additions. You also may invert them. So if you're playing the inverse Resonators, this is a good way to be able to freely invert them without having to play them initially. With the fact that the inverse Resonators cost zero is the reason why they're not that good right now. Until True Blade gets banned and Black Tears, the inverse cards besides the Addition and the Stones will probably never see play. So that happens. Oh, and she also gets +3/+3 for every inverted card you control. So let's start off with the main deck. 3 Lorite. It's Lorite. I don't really need to explain myself. Cancel automatic effects, cancel activate effects, so it hits rulers, hits anything. Strong ass card. Doesn't need explanation. 4 Sacred Elf. Again, you want to see as many of these as possible early in, because you could do tap, turn 1, rest, untap, rest again, flash in Melfi. That's basically their, and then you have turn 2 Blackheart Atlas. 4 Melfi, mainly for color fixing, and plus the whole turn 1.5 Melfi combo. 2 Schrodinger Cannon Flux, because we do play 2 Blackheart Atlases in the deck. They're dragged out from the deck. Also the fact that they combo very well with Life Alter when you invert it. So every time you can sack off your Lorites, you can sack off your Sacred Elves the late game, and just deal -4/-4 to something, and then get tokens, and then sacrifice the tokens to do -4/-4 to other things, and constantly keep having tokens. 3 Mephistopheles. This is really the only inverted Resonator I play. Being able to force things to rest when they come into field is very strong. because that gives you favorable trades. When you inverse, he's Abdul with a 10-10 body and flying, with -2/-2 to your enemy's field. So for those of you that don't know who Abdul is, resonators your opponent controls do not have their enter effects activated. So basically they null and void all enter effects until you get rid of it. 3 Gil. Gil's a very strong card in this format, probably one of the best resonators in this deck as well. Mainly just for the fact that you can search any 1-drop black or white chant that you need at the time. This deck plays a lot of 1-0s just to make room. Honestly, I'm going to be changing the deck very soon, just because I want to try out more variations of her and see what will work out in the end. I honestly did like this list a lot. It was a lot of fun. For Rachel, Rachel's very strong. Again, also combos well with Alter, being able to sacrifice her search out a major important card. And the fact that you're able to interrupt your opponent's deck, or you can set up your own deck to when you go to Judgment. Because you could play her turn 3, set up your Judgment for next turn, and go off from there if you really need to. One Ryula, because Separation of Fates has been main decked in a lot of, as a 1-of in a lot of decks that have black white as a list. Burn to Cinders is also a card. Separation of Fates, again. So to get rid of Aimul, you're at least able to heal her back or force out the Lorites. We do play cards that can reanimate her back into play so you can keep trying to heal her. 2 Black Card Alice is the reason why I really made a deck this way, because I want to do turn 2 Black Card Alice. So if you go turn 1 Sacred Elf, turn 1 half Melfi, you can do turn 2 Black Card Alice. She brings out Schrödinger, and then you have an 8-10 on the board very early in the game. A very strong hitting one that has precision and flying as well. So it sets up Schrödinger even more easy. And then next we go to Chance. So 2 Command and Life and Death. Again, very easy reanimation spells for cards like Mephistopheles, Gil, Rachel, heck, even Schrödinger at times, because Schrödinger can also put in lots of work. Yeah, so 3 Moonbeam Butterfly. Tutoring cards out of your deck is very important. You're able to search any card in your deck, basically. Being able to just play this for a 1-drop on turn 2 if necessary. Like, you can bring out Sacred Elves. You can also bring out the Light Altars. It just sets things up. 1 Miracle Medicine. Now you guys are going to be questioning why the Miracle Medicine. Well, lots of reasons. I can put back Schrödinger's back to deck. I can put Lori's back to deck. I can set Rachel's back into the deck and start milling more cards out of my opponent's deck. I can put Commands and Life and Deck back in the deck to keep searching more combo pieces with Rachel, so on and so forth. It also doesn't let me deck out easily either. It's a cheap card that can also use a response to other reanimation decks or other cards that are reanimation-like the new Sherry card. 1 Excalibur. That's just really removal. Gets rid of anything searchable from Gil. 1 Flourish and Hope. Searchable by Gil. Able to protect J/Resonator. The inverse card. The inverse is why we really use it too, because it's able to get rid of 2 Resonators your opponent controls. They force to banishing, so it gets around barrier. Ultra Charge Dragons are really pain in the ass for this deck to deal with sometimes. 1 Chromatic Retribution. Easily able to kill Aimul. So you kill your own Aimul, so you can flip her next turn if necessary. To Twin Blade. +6, +6, -6, -6 to your opponents, +6, +6 to yours is pretty strong. Gives you favorable trades, gives you easy reaches to OT, easy reach for damage. And the inverted card, destroy target J/Resonator or resurrect 5 or cost or less. I've actually done this to kill my own Aimul just to Judgment Enter her again. It's hilarious, but you can do it. Do I recommend it? Not really. But you can do it. Two Final Battle, because Final Battle is Final Battle. We've had this card for a long time in the format. Best removal card in the game, hands down. 4 Alter. Alter combos really well with itself as well, and Schrödinger, and so you don't act like, the later the game goes, if you actually have one Alter this way and then like the other one's inverted, you're able to cycle through your deck very easily in this deck, because if you keep all the mana dorks up, you can legitimately float a green, sack them off, use that green will to draw a card. So you're able to cycle through your deck very easily while also getting rid of things. You know, as long as you have the mana to do so. My throat really hurts, guys. And then last but not least, Zero's Circle of Protection. So, just choose a color. You gain barrier from it, mainly just because this card is really good. It protects you from really good, strong removal. Besides Final Battle, obviously. Protects your board, protects your ruler. And then they have to get rid of this card in order to basically do anything else to your board. Alright, so to the stone lineup. For Dusty Sky, we want as much green as possible, and we want as much white as possible to keep constantly judgmenting our ruler. That's basically it. Green. The more green you have, the better, because you just want the mana dorks. I don't even care about anything else but the mana dorks. You want mana dorks turn 1 and turn 2. 2 Perseus Memoria, just again more green white, and then 4 black silences because of green black, because we need black for every other card in the deck basically. That's not white or green. And there you go, that's the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I didn't really explain everything so well. My throat really hurts for some reason right now. I hope you guys have a great day.